doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and
Just
run it
a
all back.
motherfucking jump. Just go. The Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. There I go. I can hear myself now. I am the host because I'm the fucking guy and the other fucking guy in the room getting us all coordinated this morning to do our little podcast here is Leo. Leo, good morning on this Friday. Dude.
Love Fridays, by the way.
I know you do. I'm telling you, I'm just feel like I'm so blessed, man. Just going to eat last night and seeing the sunset.
Okay.
Was phenomenal. Just the color. There is nothing more beautiful than an Arizona desert sunset, man.
I agree.
And after 3 years, it still just catches me sometimes. Just as you're driving, just seeing it and just beautiful, man. This is, for me, this is paradise. This is right exactly where I belong. So, glad to be here. I'm very blessed. We got a bunch of things to talk about today, a bunch of shit going on. Stuff people are talking about. I'll go through a little list here of those things. We're hopefully going to get to Bill Gates, and he made some comments on climate change that were very, very interesting. And Trump on urging the Republicans now to use the nuclear option. And he doesn't mean a nuclear bomb. Nobody's touching the red buttons, but there's another nuclear option, and I've mentioned it before, and we're going to go over that and talk about that. I think that's really the way out of this. But you need to know the truth of how that works and what that means for both sides, because there are two sides. Maybe you're not on either side. Doesn't matter. There are two sides. And more violence against ICE, and we're talking about bullets flying. You know, as far as I recall, on January 6th, no bullets were flying. No bullets were flying on January 6th. That didn't happen. But in these ICE protests, off the hook, just off the hook. Father McGivney, I mentioned the last show because of the SNAP benefits that I was going to do something, and I kind of did. I did contact first Dawn contacted the Father McGivney Food Bank, left a message, nobody had answered. Then I called, and I did get an answer, and it happened to be the director of the food bank that I got to talk to. And I told him what I wanted to do, which was to go to Costco and buy $1,000 worth of food or whatever supplies that they need. And if there's anything they're short of, if there's any kind of list that he could give me. And he was willing to do that. He also, interesting enough, asked me, you know, what prompted me to do it, because he asked me if I was a business or, you know, are you just some business doing this? Are you just a nice guy? And I said, that depends on who you ask. But he ended up we talked really good. We might have him as a guest on the show for.
That'd be sick
to really know, because this is not new. I mean, and we're talking about in Queen Creek. Queen Creek is a pretty well-off suburb, like pretty well off, right? And so you think about a food bank here, and you're like, really, in Queen Creek? How many people get? But they take people from all over. If you can get there, they will help you out. And I was really impressed by that, and really impressed by talking to the director. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to him, because he can tell us about how things have gone, not just now, and people are paying attention to it, but how they've seen such an increase over the years, 21 through 24, and saw a direct rise in people that needed more help or were showing up. And I think that would be a good for everybody to hear, to get it from the front lines about what really goes on and what kind of help are people looking for, what kind of help can be given. Because I firmly believe it's not the government's job. When they attack us as Christians, what I really believe is that the government shouldn't be doing this. It's not the government's job. That was never the intention of our founding fathers to do things like this. It's on us as individuals. We're the ones that are supposed to help those in need. And not by taking everybody's tax money and distributing it, not by stealing your neighbor's money and then distributing it to others, which is what the government does. Besides the money that they take and really do spend on things that are appropriate. And what's appropriate? Protecting us. That's huge, protecting us. But some of these things, the government isn't supposed to be involved in. But we've gotten way off track, so that's why it happens. So with that being said, I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is and do the right thing. And so what he basically told me is, Troy, I can give you a list. You can go to Costco. But I can also, that food banks get spend money on, like every Monday morning, like a semi comes and he can buy food off of that semi. Yeah, it's a U.S. something. I'll have more details on Monday because I'm going to meet him right before the show. I'm going to meet him at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Because it's not very far from us.
Yeah, it's right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's right behind the Popeyes on
Ellsworth Loop.
On the Ellsworth Loop, right behind the Popeyes there. So I'm going to go meet him, and I'm going to take him $1,000 in cash because I wanted this to make the biggest impact that it could and be used the best. He can buy food at an average cost of 12 cents a pound. Well,
sorry, 12 cents a pound?
Yep. And that's as good as Costco would be, and I think Costco you'd get the best deal on, buying boxes of canned goods and things that people need. And yeah, I don't think I can do 12 cents a pound on my own. And if he can, I don't mind. I really don't. And because they have a track record that's really good, and I just like what they do and what they stood for. So, that's just me doing my homework. But really, like I said, I'm doing this because I've been blessed. And look, if you've been blessed, you should consider doing it too, whether it's $25 or $50 or $100. Actually, when I was first thinking about this on my own, in my own head, I was thinking $500. And somehow God changed that number to $1,000 like quickly. And I didn't even realize it happened until a few minutes later. I'm like, didn't I originally start thinking out $500? And now I'm spitting $1,000? And I didn't question it one bit. And maybe God doesn't work for you like that, but my God does. And so I'm glad to be able to do that. So we might have some pictures or something for the show on Monday. Okay. Because I'd like to have him on the show, and maybe we can promote that and do that too. So, Father McGivney on Monday. They're changing plans, and I'm okay with that change in plans. And so I'll be there when that truck is. So I'll get to actually see my money going to work, which is really cool. Which is one of the reasons he invited me to come, and not just, hey, stop by between these times and drop off the money, but to really be a part of it.
Yeah, to experience what actually goes on.
Yeah. It could be a more regular thing for me to doing this, because that's a big thing. Is feeding people. I think that's what we should be doing. So I don't. What this shutdown proves more than anything else with the government is that you can't rely or depend on the government. That if you get caught in that trap, you could get stuck. Again, short term, but you should want to not be there. You should want to get out of that mess, right? At least I would think so. So, all right, that's what I had on Father McGivney. I just kind of went into that as I was telling you what we were going to talk about. We have a Bill Maher video we're going to show you quick because I'm telling you, it cracks me up. And I don't think the Democrats like it very much, what Bill Maher has been doing. And in fact, when you had this up and it showed the comments on the side, they were totally trashing him, man. Like there, have you wiped your chin from your dinner with Mr. Mar-a-Lago? Which basically means, did you wipe your chin after you sucked Donald's dick? That's what he wanted to say, and he found this cute way to say it instead.
That is pretty creative. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's what they do so they don't get blocked, I guess, and I don't know. But that's the thing. That's what they accuse. Welcome to our world, Bill. That's what they say about us. We're just dumb cult members, man. And now you're one too. Your whole liberal pedigree doesn't matter anymore. But because you call some strikes on the other party sometimes, they don't like it. They don't like it. And we can start with this. We can do this. We might stop it as we go because it's about 6 minutes. The whole thing is really, really good, actually. And it is something I do. I don't watch the show every week, but fairly regular if I need something to entertain me for a moment.
I'm going to go ahead and play it now.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, new rule: before they can take on Donald Trump, Democrats have to decide which wing of their own party is best to lead them out of the wilderness. And when I say that, I'm sure you can all guess what recent incident in the news I'm thinking about. The season 8 finale of Love is Blind. Now, if you didn't see it, well, first of all, fuck you. It's absolutely the best dating show with love and blind in the title. But here's what happened. The bride, an impressive, attractive nurse named Sarah Carton, walked out on her dream wedding to sales consultant Ben Mazenga. They were at the altar, all dressed up, almost to the part where they eat cake and do the electric slide. When Sarah broke the news to her man that she just couldn't go through with it. Had he cheated on her? Abused her? Was he a folk-singing Irish vampire? No, it was because of Black Lives Matter. Because if there's one thing we know about the young liberal women of today, it's that they are very, very high in their standards about everything. And Ben, while no racist, he had not done the work on this issue.
When I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I've never really thought too much about it.
And that's when Sarah realized she'd rather die alone.
Okay, I'm a little confused. So they were about to get married.
Uh-huh.
She then asked him what he thinks about Black Lives Matter. And
So
then
here's the thing. I hate to admit this.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see this season, but I do know how the show works because I did see the first 1 or 2 seasons like years ago.
Okay.
Because this is not a new show,
Okay.
obviously the 8th season. So it's been around for a minute. So I actually did watch. I know the format. So you have these groups of men and women, and they go into these cubicles where they can't see the other person, but they're kind of talking through a wall.
Okay.
Kind of thing,
Like a blind
right?
date,
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like a blind.
legit blind
Like that's
date.
why the Love is Blind.
Yeah.
They don't get to see them until later on down the road,
Mhm.
and then some people continue, some don't because they don't find a match, and once they do, then they get to see each other for the first time, And then they go through the whole part where you check on where you meet the families and stuff, and they start spending some time together, or outside of those boxes where they actually have days where they live together and kind of thing. You get to know, and so the whole idea is you're going to marry this person, and sometimes nobody ends up getting married. I've seen one person get married, and but you just don't know, or they say they're going to, and then you have to. It's, right. So what was your question?
So because they're referring to the Black Lives Matter thing, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't get married because
So in this case, this chick did what she did is while they were
like prepping for the marriage thing.
In between the being in the cubicles and getting married, had some conversation, and maybe recently, or prior to this date that they're actually supposed to meet at the altar, and they talked about Black Lives Matter, and he didn't give her he just didn't give it. He wasn't negative. He wasn't like some hardcore conservative or something.
He
that
didn't
he was
care too much about this.
He didn't have any positive or negative feelings about it. And you'll see when she asked him a couple other things in there that's very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, so just check that out. See if that answers for you a little bit too.
Because love isn't blind, it's woke. Well, now, to be fair to Sarah, it wasn't just Black Lives Matter. Ben also didn't have much to say about the vaccine. And his position on trans was basically, I don't know, I guess. Sarah's sister is gay, and when she told that to Ben, Ben said he had, quote, no discomfort around that community at all. Not good enough, Ben! I think what you meant to say is, fuck yeah, I fucking love it. Let me tell you, folks, if the standards on the left are going to be this high and politics is going to be this much of a cock block, we're never going to win elections or have any more babies. This inclination from certain liberals to always and immediately excommunicate instead of communicate is what makes them so unlikable. And I'm sorry, Sarah, to make you the poster child for this, but come on. I mean, look at this stiff. What'd you expect?
Looks like the guy from The Mummy.
What's that?
Okay, you're a much better person than he is.
He looks like the guy from The Mummy. Have you ever seen those
movies?
movies?
No, I've never seen it.
You never seen The Mummy?
No.
What? That's great. It's a great movie, by the way. But he looks like the main.
Is it a horror movie?
Horror. It's more. So I believe it's PG-13.
Okay.
But it's made to be more of a horror, but it's more of a family movie, in my opinion.
Really?
In my opinion.
It's a family movie? The Mummy.
Maybe it's because I grew up watching it with my family that maybe it's a family movie to me.
Yeah, that's...
But yeah, it's honestly like really, really good reviews. Like the more we go into the future, the more this movie actually becomes more of a classic kind of movie.
Oh, all right.
Or at least for the people that I've talked to. At least.
I'll have to find it.
I recommend it. Have you seen like the Mummy or the Mummy Returns or the Scorpion King?
No.
With Dwayne Johnson?
No, I think I tried it. No, I haven't seen it.
That's crazy to me, actually. I would have thought that's something.
And I like.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I would have thought.
I like The Rock. Yeah.
Sorry.
You would think no. That's good. You contributed. That's beautiful, man.
You win, and by win I mean lose. Christ, first we couldn't date people who had opposite political beliefs. Now we can't even date them if they have no opinion at all. It's enough to make you lose faith in finding true love on a reality streaming series.
Jesus Christ.
Popular shows, man.
Because if you're going to eliminate every 20-something who hasn't thought a lot about politics, you're going to be working from a smaller pool than roadies with no leg tattoos. and let's be clear. Ben didn't say, you know, I have thought about Black Lives Matter and I'm with Derek Chauvin. No, He said, I'm young and dumb and full of fantasy football stats. Could we just talk about it? I'm sorry, I'm not up to the part of my life yet where I give a shit about the issues. Should he? Of course. We all should do a lot of things. I should meditate and finish Moby Dick and learn to get to sleep without a gummy. But maybe Ben hasn't turned his life over to being a social justice warrior yet because he's preoccupied with trying to get his life going. Possibly because he's worried about having the means to support the woman he thought he was going to marry, who seems rather demanding and particular. Which is kind of how it is these days. Did you know that on Bumble, only 15% of the women are willing to date a man under 5'8"? Wow. Women, they're like roller coasters now. You must be this tall to ride them.
I would laugh more if it wasn't so true, I'll be honest with you.
And that's not all. The
That's
guy
what makes
must
it funny.
also
It's
have a
low-key
nice
a little
car
depressing, I ain't gonna
and
lie.
make over $100K a year. Okay, but you know, how many 6'2" Grand Prix drivers are there? I know you've all been told that you can have it all, and you're a queen and a lady boss and that bitch. But maybe your judgy ass is no prize either. And if you jilt a guy for not thinking enough about Black Lives Matter, just tell me this. What have you actually done that made any more of a difference in any black life than what your
Amen.
inadequate ex-fiancé did? I asked Senator Adam Schiff here last week when the subject of Trump's sliding poll numbers came up. Okay, but how are the Democrats going to blow it this time? This is how. Posturing, purity tests, the politics of I unfriend you if you're not exactly with me 1,000%. Barack Obama used to preach that the perfect is the enemy of the good. Yeah, it's also the enemy of getting laid.
I have random small damages and holes in my walls.
Random commercial in the background.
That's all right. That's good. It's just funny. It's funny stuff, and it's good stuff simply because it's true. That's the best stuff that's funny. I say that all the time. You got to have some truth in there for stuff to really be funny, and that's what makes it good. And then we just kind of continue on with this. No, go back to the glamour girls here. This is crazy. I just saw this yesterday. So this is, let me just read it. When the London-based U.S. designer Connor Ives took a bow after his AW25 show in February, he was wearing a simple white t-shirt, Protect the Dolls, written on it. For Ives, it was a gesture of solidarity towards his trans friends facing life in Trump's America. The Dolls, in this affectionate term, sometimes given to trans women that originally came from Black and Latina queer communities or homes in the ballroom scene. Yet what began as an individual gesture became a full-blown cultural moment. Once the t-shirt became available for sale with all the proceeds going towards the charity Trans Lifeline, a peer support and crisis hotline offering support to trans people in the U.S. and Canada. The shirt has raised $600,000. There's a picture of the girls. See if you can scroll up. So there's your dolls, and some of them have gone so far as the enhancement on the top half, and I don't know how many of them still have their junk down below. I don't think they tell us that. Keep going. Let me see underneath that. Right there. Celebrities soon adopted. Protect the Dolls to indicate their support for trans women, including Madonna, Pedro Pascal, Tilda Swinton, and some others there on the back of a custom rhinestone jacket, no less. Mariah Carey. In the UK, the t-shirt and its slogan blew up after the UK Supreme Court handed down a judgment on the meaning of sex in the Equality Act of 2010 that excluded trans women from the definition. Now, trans people, especially trans women, are facing committed attempt from anti-trans pressure group and right-wing politicians to make exclusionary policy. So the other thing that was in here, I was hoping to get to it sooner, but one thing they talked about that was kind of funny. So yeah, trans women make better women than women. Apparently, that's what we see. But they're really not happy with straight men. They wish that straight men would just get over it and give them a chance. Yeah. That's just not a thing. Not really. Not knowingly, anyways. Or knowingly very often. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's just weird, some of the comments, if you just read through it. So let me read this one. If I could wave a magic wand and bring about one change specifically, it would be the resources available for healthcare and mental health support. I do agree. They do need mental health support. All for that. So, yeah. Glamour UK. That's why we don't really talk about the magazine Glamour very often anymore. We don't talk about many magazines anymore, really. Who reads magazines? I mean, how old are you to pick up a magazine?
I think it's very rare, unless you're doing it for like some sort of project or like what do you call those? Like a collection board or whatever you call them, an idea board. I don't know what you call them, where you grab a bunch of stuff from the magazines and you put them in.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think that's the last time I've seen someone reading a magazine.
Yeah. And you can still get that stuff online and print it off.
And just
though,
print
too,
it, exactly.
You know,
Yep.
So like, why with the magazine? Yeah, it's done the things you'd like to manifest in your life. So if there's a certain level of car or home or something like that, you know, you put it on this little board and yeah, that's the thing. I've done that before. It's not a bad thing to do.
Actually, I plan on doing that here in the near future.
Yeah,
So
well, good.
make a little decoration out of it.
I think they do talk about that in The Secret too. So I've said it before. The
book
documentary. Did you ever read the documentary? Like,
I have
or watch the documentary?
It's
not
on
read.
Netflix, right? I believe I have it on my list.
Yeah, that's definitely one you want to do because you can just listen to it. You do not have to watch it. But yeah, she wrote it, the original. So, but yeah, there's a book, but you really want the documentary.
Oh, the documentary is better.
The documentary is better because, like I said, I listened to it or watched it every single day from beginning to end, not all at one time, but I'd get through it sometime during the day. I did this back when I was working construction, and I would listen to it every day for 30 days. So I really ingrained the idea of what you should be doing. And I believe, at least for me, when it talks about energy and where that to me, it comes from God. God is my source. But either way, for people, you know, I don't think that because there would be a little debate sometimes on whether or not it was compatible with being a Christian. I absolutely believe that it is, but that's just my point of view. So, yeah, you should do that. And I'll watch The Mummy. How many is there?
3.
3? All right.
But then there's obviously like the spin or I don't know what you call it, but like the Scorpion King, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
that one's tied into the Mummy,
but it's a separate. Okay.
Looks like there's 4. Are they making a new one? Let's go.
You're excited. Look at that. The Mummy 4, brother.
Brandon was the guy I was referring to when he was a little younger, at least.
Yeah.
He looked like the gentleman that was on the screen.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, there's 4 in total. It looks like, but nah, the original, the Mummy, the original one. This is a classic for sure.
Huh. Did not know. But I'm open to that. I'm open to expanding my horizons in that way. All right. So this is some important stuff that I'm going to go over. We'll start with Bill Gates first on climate change. I've never believed that man made that climate change, that what man does was because of men. That the climate changing because of what our living and producing and what we do to the environment. I believe the environment's way stronger than we give it credit to. And I believe that there is climate change because the climate always changes, because the world has always changed over billions of years. And not just the climate. I mean, the actual land masses have changed over the billions of years. So I'm a believer in that. I'm just not a believer that man is doing something or that we could do something or stop doing something that would change everything. Because these things happened before man ever was on earth. We would have these massive changes. If that wasn't true, we wouldn't have had ice ages. We wouldn't have had the ice melt after the ice age. It just, to me, no, I'm not a scientist. It just common sense. It just didn't ring true. And then when we find out over the years, when it's always the end of the earth, just like, I grew up in the time in the 70s when we were going to run out of oil, right? And look where we are now. And we have way more oil than we thought we ever had. And now what I've always believed, and some scientists now believe, is that oil is always being made somewhere in the Earth's core, that it's a continual thing, that it actually is quasi a renewable resource. And it's just a matter of getting it. And, that's why sometimes you have where certain areas dry up and then later on they produce again. So I haven't believed that the dumb hype. And we heard every year for quite a while, especially when Clinton was president, because it was Vice President Al Gore's issue, is that we were always being told, oh, just in 10 years, if we don't do such and such, oh my God, the climate change is going to end the world. It's going to get too hot. People are going to starve. Going to get flooded out. If the weather changed in a way that made it sound good for them, for the climate change people, you should believe it. But if we brought up as a conservative the weather, then it was just the weather. Like, we've always gone through cycles of, earthquakes or hurricanes or whatever. The reason that some are more damaging now than others is because we build shit in dumb places. That's why. So obviously, if we build shit in dumb places that we know have been hit in the past or could be hit, and a greater number of people in those areas, guess what? It's going to be more. The damage is going to be more. And to blame climate change is just idiotic. Everything gets blamed on climate change. The reason people are leaving other countries and crossing the border illegally into the United States, climate change. And then we find out through different emails and such that have surfaced over a number of years. There used to be what was called the hockey stick, and it was a graph they would use to show how, and it was how that was proven to be like really fucking fake and false.
Like the statistics that they were using?
Yeah. Not just statistics, but it was how fast things were going to happen. And
like the projection of.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I believe that that's going to be the case. And people will adapt. look, it's 125, it's in the 120s here in Arizona. And we figure out how to manage our way around it in the summer. And some of you might be going, oh my God, I could never do that. Well, it's not that bad. It really, at least for me, I love it. I don't care. And I would rather deal with that than the weather in Ohio or someplace in the northern Midwest. It's just my personal preference. But there's places very cold. Alaska, places in Canada. They barely even have fucking summer, right? Maybe 2 months. What the fuck is that?
I was
Yeah.
about to say barely. If
Right?
they get lucky.
Exactly. But those people, they don't have to live there. They can move. They choose to. They adapt to the environment that they're in. You figure it out. And that's what happens here. So the climate change thing, I've always believed it was about redistributing the wealth of America to poorer countries. And Trump caught on to that game and was like, yeah, now we're not participating. And that's what the Paris Climate Accords were. And actually, even when we haven't, removed ourselves from those types of agreements and stuff, do you know who cleans up their environment the best? What country does that? Despite these other countries agreeing to certain rules and things like that. You know who's still done the best, even though we're not a part of it? Us.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never guessed the U.S.
Yeah. We do care about, pollution and shit. But carbon dioxide, man? Are you kidding me? That's just the dumbest shit in the world. The other dumb shit is thinking that, that's why you should go vegan, is because having all these farm animals farting is bad for the environment. I mean, it's some crazy shit people believe. And we were told this by a lot of, people high up and people that were wealthy, including Bill Gates. But how long can you perpetrate a fraud? Because they've done it for a long, long time now. Again, what I'm talking about, and I think there was a time when everybody believed that things were going to be the opposite of not climate, the raising of the temperature. They thought there was going to be a freeze.
There's a really good movie about that, actually.
Yeah. And I forget what year that was, or Time Magazine, or somebody reporting and talking about that. But they really believed that at the time. And then the opposite happened. And then because they kept getting caught, they just changed it to climate change.
Really?
So they could go, yeah, because it captures everything then. Because people would make it make you look stupid because you said it was going to freeze and temperatures are going to go up. So they just want to capture it all. They just want it to be...
Put it under like a dramatic change.
Yeah, an umbrella. Everything under that. So it all continues. Yeah, global cooling. When, put this in there, when did many people believe that global cooling was going to be a huge problem before it changed to global warming? That should give us a roundabout time. Perfect. There you go. See, that's what I lived through. It's in the 70s. In the early to mid-70s, some press accounts reported that the Earth might be entering a period of cooling, possibly even heading toward another ice age, for example. It was Newsweek, not Time. Scientists in that era had noticed that from 1945 to 1970, average surface temperatures had shown little increase or even a slight decline in some records. Some scientific papers and reports from the early 70s considered the possibility that aerosol air pollution effects, which reflect solar radiation, might offset greenhouse gases and maybe even dominate and lead to cooling. And then by the late 70s, scientific. So, one thing that you do get out of that when people want to tell you, follow the science, what happened here? Did the science change? It did. What the consensus opinion was at one point by the experts that have degrees in this shit, they thought this was going to happen. It didn't happen, and they changed their mind to this is going to happen now.
Yeah. Science is
Right?
a lot of rule changing.
That's what science, that's what it is. It's what you know best at the time. It's no different than medicine.
Medicine is science. Yeah.
Just not just, and I don't mean just medicine as in drugs. I just mean in health and doctors and things that there are procedures that they believe that worked 100 years ago that now, if you're told about it, you think, well, that's fucking ridiculous because that's not even true at all. So just because a bunch of people agree on something at some point doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's right.
Oh, like that can be really deep if you really want to get into it.
Right?
Like we have all these people ruling the world, governing all these people, but whether or not they're actually right or wrong, that's a completely different thing.
What do people want
That's
that are in that position that you're talking about?
power.
The people ruling the world, what do they want?
Power, control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Power and control, man. You hit it. It's power and control. They want that power and control. And honestly, they don't even, I believe some of these people don't even believe the shit they're saying.
Oh no, definitely.
They don't even believe it.
No.
But they're going to say such and such because they want the power and control if they can get enough people to
Power and
believe
masses.
it.
Oh yeah.
And what's happened now with the way that media is there's not just 3 or 4 channels and a couple of big newspapers like the New York Times and the Washington Post that could get people to believe a big thing because it's so diverse and there's so many opinions out there now. They can't get a consensus on that kind of stuff anymore. And they're losing their grip. They're losing their grip on power and they can't stand it.
So they have to change something so they can.
Sure. But it's not, they don't know what to do now, dude. They're scared as fuck, dude. They are scared as fuck.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot harder to get away with lies nowadays, just because there's so many
And
people
they
that
keep
dig
trying.
into it.
And they keep trying. What did you just say? The lies, people getting away with lies. I want to come back to that. So I'm going to write it down. Because I want to finish here with what Bill Gates had to say. But yeah, you can check it out. And Matt Taibbi is excellent. He really is great. Scroll down. Good dude to follow. From the You Can't Make This Up file, billionaire Bill Gates gave an interview on CNBC and released an essay called 3 Tough Truths About Climate. One of the tough truths was, this is not a joke. Climate change is a serious problem, but it will not be the end of civilizations. Gates put his truth in a box under a field, probably the most humorously grasping use of green imagery in North commercial in Michael Clayton, whatever that is. Why survival should be tough. News wasn't clarified, but Gates offered a summary of his thesis. There's a doomsday view of climate change that goes like this. In a few decades, climate change will decimate civilization. The evidence is all around us. Just look at the heat waves, storms, everything I was just talking about, right? And then fortunately for us, this view is wrong. Although climate change will have serious consequences, particularly for people in the poorest countries, it will not lead to humanity's demise. Because it's supposed to happen, man. Change is the one constant, man. It just is. It's not complicated.
I feel like
they do not
teach
like
this
it.
in school, right?
Yeah, dude,
Like,
they don't. Sure they do. And obviously, people on the left are not happy that he said this at all. Because you're not allowed to go off the reservation. You have to believe what they believe. You have to. Everything. Hook, line, and sinker. People getting away with lies. It's really crazy. I'm going to bring up Gavin Newsom again. Gavin Newsom was talking on a podcast. I don't know which one, but I've seen the clips and everything. And what he was talking about was his son and Charlie Kirk. And he also had Charlie Kirk, like I think Charlie Kirk was one of either the first one or one of the very early people that Gavin Newsom had on his podcast. And one of the things he told Charlie was how much his son, wanted to be able to meet him, that he really liked him, and that his son wanted to stay home from school, basically, because he wanted to meet Charlie Kirk, right? And he's bragging, but he's telling Charlie this. Now, I don't know which is the truth or which is a lie, but a lot of people didn't like that he had Charlie on. And then a lot of people didn't like that he said that about how much his kid liked Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took some flack for that. And so now recently he's pivoted and to where, my kid didn't really care about Charlie at all. Just a total 180, man. Okay. Just totally the other direction. And again, it's being pointed out because a lot of people are like, what? What did you just say? We remember when you said this and you kind of said it to Charlie's face. So which is true? Or are you just saying whatever story you think you can say in front of the group that you're in front of or the group that's likely to hear the message? Either case, that's not cool, man. Show some fucking balls and stick up for that. Jamie Lee Curtis, I think we even mentioned it, that even though, she had a differing opinion than Charlie, she was really upset about his death. She took a ton of flack for saying that. And now she's backtracking on what she said. Oh no, I didn't really mean that. He really sucked. He's horrible. Instead of what she said before, which is, I just disagree with him and this isn't cool to happen to anybody. And that's a fair opinion for somebody to have. That's a true fair opinion. I don't care if people have that opinion, but when people just out and out hate or when people lie about someone and what they did and take their shit out of context, that I do care about. But yeah, you can't get away with the lies. I don't know why this is not new. This has been something for at least 10 years or longer, maybe 15 years. Where it's gotten harder to harder because there's so much access to so much video, so much information. Everybody's recording everything. Now, somebody's recorded it. So if you go two-faced, if you talk out of both sides of your mouth, you're going to get called out on it. That's going to happen. And at least acknowledge it. Say, well, you know what? I might have overstated. I said this, and I really don't feel that way, or I've changed my mind. It's okay to change your mind, man. Just be honest about it. Just be honest. That's what real authenticity is. And you idiots think that Trump is just this fucking liar. And he has more authenticity as a politician than anyone that I can remember. Anyone. He's not perfect. Never said that he was. But absolutely, he's authentic because he's just doing him. He's not pretending or trying to be. And now you have people on the left trying to be the Democrat version of Trump. Man, just stop it. Just be you. Just be you, whatever that fucking shit is. It's not that damn hard, man. But you're making yourselves look like idiots when it comes to that. Now, more with Trump and what he's at least announced last night. Maybe I don't know where it was, on the plane or something, because he's been overseas. But let me explain the nuclear option, or let me explain what's going on in the Senate and the House. The House already voted. They had a clean CR. It went to the Senate, and the House did their job. They took off. They're back in their home district. And then it was up to the Senate. Well, now the Senate's wasted a bunch of time because this clean CR was only supposed to last like 3 weeks into November. But they've wasted this time when they could have passed the clean resolution and been negotiating these other things that they say that they want. And much of it is things they want to undo that was in the big, beautiful bill. And Trump got his big, beautiful bill because he should have got his big, beautiful bill because we voted for it. The winners get to set the table. We get to decide the menu. All right? Pick and choose what you want to eat off the table that suits you. But we get to choose the menu. All right? If you have a request, hey, could we throw this in as an appetizer? Throw it out there. See what people think. That's what you can do when you're the minority. But when you're the majority, and the Republicans are, except there's a problem. In the Senate, they can filibuster, and not really filibuster anymore like they used to. A filibuster used to mean you used to have to talk and really filibuster. And now they just kind of invoke it and say it, and it changes the rules from something needing 51 votes to pass to being 60. That's where we're at with this. So when people are lying to you, Democrats are flat out lying, saying, well, Republicans control the Senate, the House, the presidency, the judiciary. In the Senate, they don't have 60 votes. And they're only getting right now about 3 votes from Democrats, and the Republicans are losing 1 Republican vote that's voting on the other side, which to me is crazy in this case, but it's what's happening. So they need 60. Now, this has happened before when it's come to judges. It used to be that you had to have 60 votes for a judge, for a Supreme Court justice to become a Supreme Court justice. And so you had to find somebody that met most of your criteria, that the president who picked it, wanted that person, or wanted a certain way, be more how he wanted the Constitution interpreted, right? That fit more with their line of thinking. But they had to be maybe towards the middle enough, right, that you could get votes from the other side. You had to find somebody that was, acceptable on both sides. So you didn't get as many radical judges that way, okay? The Democrats changed there was a time the Republicans thought about doing it, and I remember it clearly, but they decided not to change the rules. And then Democrats got in power and they changed the rules when it came to judges. And what happened is then when the Republicans got back in power in Trump's first administration, most of those judges, they didn't get 60 votes. Gorsuch didn't get 60 votes. The ones Trump picked did not get 60 votes. Some of them only got the 51, I think, or whatever. It was very, very close. But that was the nuclear option. The nuclear option was changing the rules so that it just took a simple majority and not a 60-vote majority. You follow along with that? Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening here with this current bill, in that they need 60 votes and they're not able to get it. And what is an option for them? Because what happened in the past, this also happened under Biden. They wanted to do this under Biden, and they wanted to use the nuclear option to change the rules. But there was 2 more mainstream Democrats. I think it was Sinema, and I think she was Arizona, and then Bill Manchin, who was West Virginia or Virginia, whichever one, but Manchin. Those 2 senators who were Democrats who voted with the Republicans to not allow the breakage of the vote to change there, right? So here's what I know is going to happen. If the Republicans need to fix this now. They need to do this because this needs to be over. This stalemate needs to be over. And there's only one way to do it unless the Democrats come on board, and they voted 13 times now. They're not coming on board. They can't. The whack jobs in their party are holding them hostage. So they can't do it. They want them to fight Trump tooth and nail, not give in. They don't care whatever happens to anyone else. And I don't think Republicans want to look like they don't care, because we do. And a way to show you care, change the rules and make it so you can pass this with a simple majority. That's what you need to do. And Trump is authorizing and telling the Senate do this. Because I guarantee you, whether the Republicans do it or not, if Democrats get in charge again, they're going to do it. They've shown that in the past. They did that with the judges. The Republicans decided, no, we're not going to do that. And then the Democrats came in and they did it. They're going to use it. They are going to use it. So to say, well, we don't want to do it because we don't want them to do it against us, they came very close to using it against us under Biden. And I guarantee you, if they get power again, they are absolutely going to make that happen. So that's what it is. That's the nuclear option and how we can, deal with this. And now the focus is on people because getting their SNAP benefits, today being Halloween. Happy Halloween, by the way.
Man.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Man, my neighborhood,
Full of decorations.
a lot, man. Like, my neighborhood goes crazy over Halloween, but all cool.
That's how it should be. I love Halloween. It's a great holiday.
Yeah, well, we'll be handing out some
Candies.
candy. Yep, we'll make it happen today. But yeah, so then tomorrow's November 1st, and when people's cards would get reloaded, and they're not going to be reloaded. And some other methods, like I saw some states, if they want to cover it, they can't just put money on the people's card. States are not able to do that. So I did say where states are going to increase the money that's given to these food banks, like I'm choosing to do, so that they can buy more food and hand more out that way.
I mean, that's smart.
You know what was really interesting that I just saw this morning? Adam Carolla was on a podcast, and he was maybe talking a little tongue-in-cheek, but I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't verified it. I didn't have time to, but I bet that it is. That he said that the average weight of a woman that's not on SNAP benefits is like 146 pounds. And a woman that's on SNAP, it was like 210 or something. It was over 200. That there was a big difference. And that's just because they're getting more free junk, using the money for bad food. And that they were an average of like
146. The average SNAP recipient is nobody could benefit from this.
Yeah, he was saying, they might want to do a fast. It might be good to lose some weights. But 60 pounds heavier, man. Isn't that crazy?
I did just read that there is no actual connection to it. That is just something. I'll dig into it a little bit more.
Okay, but the fact is, it's either, people might not say it's connected, but either it's true that the average weight of a person that's on it is what it is, and not being on it, right?
No, I get what you're saying.
But but you got to remember the left leaning. You have to push the Chat GPT or whatever. In fact, I'm having a problem with my Chat GPT. I need to talk to you about after the show.
Okay, so
My videos aren't loading anymore now, man. I don't know what happened. Like when you send me the clips and I load them up on the Chat GPT to do an analysis for me, it all of a sudden stopped doing it. I get this error. And I tried some different things but I don't know enough about it to be able to.
we'll look into
it sucks, man. I got all these great clips you sent me, and I now all of a sudden I'm stuck. I can't pop them up as quick. Sucks. Anyways, that's what it was. So we had that. We get rid of that. More. More violence against ICE. This is just absolutely terrible. And let me see if I can, here I can find the story. So this is just happening. Reporting today, 2 shootings involving U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers took place over the past 10 days in Southern California as individuals on the left continue to track its agents. Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement provided to Fox News Digital that an individual pulled their car in front of ICE officers on Thursday in Ontario, California. After ICE officers ordered the driver to leave the area, the individual attempted to run them over by reversing directly at them without stopping. One ICE officer feared for his life and fired shots at the car, which McLaughlin said fled the area. Hopefully they'll be able to find that vehicle and that person that was in that, because they absolutely should be caught and they should be punished. McLaughlin said the incident is just another example of the threats our ICE officers are facing day in and day out. ICE officers now face 1,000% increase in assaults against them, including cars being used as weapons, and death threats against the agents are up 8,000%.
Okay, what were the numbers before? That's a dramatic number.
Because it wasn't a thing.
Because it wasn't a thing. Okay, so they're
so it's going to
making
be
it sound
dramatic.
a lot more than it actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, 8,000 is crazy.
But it's an 8,000% increase.
Increase, exactly. Yeah.
But if it only happened,
Once.
2 times,
Yeah.
and it's an 8,000 increase, and now it's happened 50 or whatever the increase is, but that's still like this wasn't happening.
No,
it
I
wasn't
get
a
you.
thing
I get you.
to do this, and it wasn't something that happened on January 6th. It wasn't. One person was killed on January 6th, and it was a Trump supporter. And it wasn't a Trump supporter that was doing anything other than being someplace they shouldn't have been. That was the case. This wasn't somebody trying to hurt other people or do things like that was just caught up in the mob and wasn't hitting anyone or a danger to anyone. A lot like you say, an illegal immigrant, right? Kind of. I don't think they should be shot either. The violence must end. Let me be clear. Anyone who assaults, impedes, obstructs, or threatens the lives of federal officers will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Separate incident on October 21st, a TikTok influencer, Carlito Parias, an illegal immigrant, tried to ram his car into a law enforcement vehicle in L.A. Officers fired shots at Parias, hitting him in the elbow. McLaughlin said one U.S. Marshal officer was shot in the hand by a ricochet bullet. Should not be the case. You do not have the right to surround and swarm agents just doing their job. Nobody has to report anything to you. Nobody has to show you a warrant. You're not anybody. You're not anybody. And I'm going to address the one part, too, that they like to bring up. It's much like the abortion debate where people will bring up incest or something like that, or rape or incest. And that's less than 1% of all abortions. But that's their defense for all abortions. So a great question to ask is, okay, if we allowed the abortions for incest and rape, which are 1%, would you be cool if we banned it for the other 99% that have nothing to do with rape or incest, that solely have something to do with you just don't want the kid? You don't want to take care of them? You don't want to be responsible? And the same goes for this particular situation. That's just what they want to do. They want to take something that's a very small number, a very tiny number, that there's been, I believe, from what I found out in research, was like 170 people have been detained that were U.S. citizens. So they were made to be inconvenienced. And I'm sure that sucks. But when you're doing something as large as this is, a deportation as big as this effort is, some good people are going to get caught up in it by accident. And they should be treated well, and they should be released. And as far as we know, they've been released. Nobody's being deported that's a U.S. citizen. That is not happening. Can somebody accidentally get caught up? And then later on, they can, more investigation, they can prove who they are and that they are a citizen, and then released. And it might be 24, 48 hours. And like I said, it sucks. But that, you can't have this. The number is never going to be 0. It's just not. So as long as they're being released, you can't use that to say, well, we can't allow this to happen at all because of 170 people. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. That doesn't work. That number doesn't work. So, yeah, stop with the dumb shit. And the cops in those cities should be there. That's their job. And it isn't, maybe they should look at it that it's not just their job to protect the ICE agents who are doing theirs, but it should also be to protect those citizens who came there to peacefully protest, and now they're doing shit you're not allowed to do, to protect them too, because one of them is going to die. And there's probably an ICE agent that's going to die if this all continues. So the reason that police should be there is they just should be obligated to be there. And being told to stand down by these mayors is, these mayors should pay a price for doing that. You're just as guilty if you think that it's okay, or because you're authorizing that. That's just insane to me. You're not just protecting the ICE agents. You're protecting the other people too, because they're going to get hit with those paintball-like things or whatever the fuck. What do they shoot at them?
Pepper bullets or pepper.
But they do peppers.
No, they're
right,
balls
but there's
of
yeah.
pepper. They're pepper pellets, I believe they call them.
Whatever they are. But they get hit with something. It leaves a nice little welt on there. It's not comfortable getting hit by those. But if the police were in there and they could separate them and create a line, and a safe line for the ICE agents to do what they need to do and then leave the area without having to fear for their lives, that's what they should do. And they'll also be protecting these other people as well. That's just how it should be. There shouldn't even be any question or debate about that. None. The place to debate that is in the courts and when you vote. If you think the Trump administration is doing something illegal, take them to court. Because that's what they've been doing. And they've been winning a lot in court, but they don't win everything. Excuse me, they don't win everything in court. So that's how it's supposed to be. That's how our system is. It's not this violence against them. That's why you have the National Guard being called in. They're not doing police work. They're protecting the ICE agents and they're protecting the buildings, because y'all are vandalizing the fucking buildings. You know, you're defacing the vehicles, writing pig on them. I mean, grow the fuck up. You're not like a 14-year-old delinquent teenager, for God's sakes. Grow the fuck up. And you don't have any right to stop them from doing their job. None. None. You can't say you support law enforcement, but not this law enforcement. It's not new. There was ICE under Biden, and they were doing the exact same thing that they're doing now, except now they're hiring more people to do it, and they're allowing the rules of engagement to be different than what they were. That's what it is. That's it. Obama used them. That's what they were there for. So, what do you think? Have you been following the World Series at all?
Yeah. Oh man, that last game was amazing.
The last few games were amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say, this has been definitely one of the better World Series that we've had.
You know, it was kind of funny. After Tuesday night's game that was so long, that then Wednesday's game felt like it went so fucking fast, man. It's like We looked at it, was like, what time did that game start? What time is it over? It was like 2.5 hours. It was quick, man. And now the Toronto Blue Jays are up 3-2.
Hell yeah.
Now they're back. You know what I didn't realize, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. I thought every sports had changed their 7-game series to 2-2, 1-1-1.
I'm sorry, wait, what?
So that whoever had the best record got to start the home field in the first 2 games.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then it used to be 2-3-2. It used to be the team with the better record had the first 2, that the team that was had the worst record, right? Worst record, they got 3 games in a row. And then you would go for games 6 and 7, that would be back to the team with the best record. And at least in my thinking, you always want to snag one. If you have a chance, if you're considered the other underdog, you want to snag one of the 2. All you care about is getting one of the 2. And then you have 3 games at home. To me, it gave an advantage to the team that shouldn't have the advantage, which is the team with the worst record. Because if they took one of those 2 games, again, now they're going to have 3 at home. That's a swing. So they changed it. A lot of sports changed, like basketball and stuff, where it's 2-2, 2 each,
be fair,
and then 1-1-1. Yeah, one back theirs, one the other, and then one back for the better team. And I honestly thought baseball was like that, and it's not. They played 3 games.
2, 3.
Yep. You had the first 2 in Toronto. You had 3 in Dodger Stadium now. And so that's also true. I think only one time did I see? It might have only been once that the Dodgers, when they've won the World Series, they've only won it in front of their own fans one time.
Really?
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
Kind of sad, to be honest.
Right? Well, it should be 2-2, 1-1-1.
Never been able to win at home. Oh, okay, so because of that.
I don't know. I just know it's a little bit more fair for the other team, and that would have been the Blue Jays. But the Blue Jays are up now, 3-2, and being back in Toronto, I'm going to say that Chris Bassett's going to see an inning or 2 again because he does better at home and does better against right-handers, so it depends on the lineup there. But, he's pitched a couple times in a couple of the games. I think 1 inning in 1 game in maybe the first game, and then in the long one or the one that he pitched 4. A couple innings. Yeah, game 4, he pitched a couple innings and pitched pretty well. Actually, he's done some pretty good for his limited use. He's actually done pretty well in the World Series.
Only 1 hit.
And I bring him up for those that don't know because he's from my hometown, lived literally right next door to me for about 12 years when I was there, and watched him grow up. So to get to do that, the whole town is excited, and it's kind of fun. So I was calling it Dodgers in 6, so I might be right about the 6 and wrong about the team.
Hell yeah. Fuck the
So I'm either going to be right about one. I'm going to be right about one or the other. I'm either going to be right about game 6 or maybe the Dodgers in 7.
Fuck the Dodgers.
They got to get hot, man. But the Blue Jays have been consistent, man. They've been consistent as far as hitting goes. And the Dodgers have gone whichever way Ohtani's gone, really.
I love the memes that have come out of that. Because you know how the whole scandal with him, his manager, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
All the memes coming out of this. Hilarious. I'll have to say
they're grilling him again over it.
Oh my god! Because when they lost this second game or whatever, but Ohtani had like 3 strikeouts or like the worst game he had out of the series, and they were making the joke where they were calling him saying like, "Is your manager with you? How much money did you make Ohtani?" Because he like got no hits, no like he had like the worst game.
I was surprised on one of the at bats on Wednesday night that he took a called strike 3 that he didn't even swing.
He didn't even swing at it?
Yeah.
It was
later
inside.
in the inning. Yeah, I don't know
if
the
I had
exact
to guess,
pitch.
it was a slider coming in because he does not like those. I've learned a lot about Ohtani in the past few months. because I got into the whole pitching side of baseball
Mm-hmm.
and really understanding what pitch and what location and why and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually understand, like Otani's like one of the, like, because even understanding pitching even more now makes Otani feel even better, because I understand like there's certain pitches that he should probably not even get to, because like naturally he just can't,
Right.
but he just still does sometimes, and it's impressive. It really is.
I think with all the information out there and what AI can analyze, that it can help people at the plate and it can help the pitchers as well.
yeah.
If they take the time to study it.
To
What
study,
they're able
exactly.
to put together now with what are the tendencies of the batters. They used to do that anyways. They can be much more accurate about that stuff now.
They
And
got
you
twi- you can
you
get to,
have
like,
you almost
to the
have to have a
twitches.
whole department working on that for you
I'm pretty sure
to
they
be able
do.
to pass that on. I don't know.
I think they might. I could be wrong, but I do believe some high end teams will pay
they should.
for like the whole breakdown of each single person, and they'll study the lineup depending on what, like, who's playing, where
Absolutely.
they're playing, what time of the year it is. Like, I'm talking about like specific.
They should have their own like baseball AI.
Yeah.
That's just nothing
think
but
they-
that, just with
think they
their
might be,
stats and
actually.
information that's flooded with it. You know what I'm saying?
I believe they've been using it in the background, but not like
Yeah, I don't-
officially been using it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I think you'd want that information as best as you can. And just the ability to get more and better information now. That's what it is. So what'd you get? I can't see
I
it.
did
It's not on my
I did
screen,
not
man.
realize that. That is my bad.
Many baseball teams use AI models to analyze vast data sets.
See, I swear I did see someone reading this that
Pitch
they actually
movement,
do use
swing paths, spin rate.
where to shift the defense. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
like
it's-
they're
it
using
should be
they're
if
using
you-
AI
a
for
lot, yeah.
a lot. Because I
Listen.
think I remember watching a video of a pitcher analyzing the way his shoulder or his elbow moved when he pitches, and they like slightly tweaked it, and then within like minutes he was throwing like I think 5 miles per hour, like faster or something like that.
Well, the technology too, I believe, is also gonna change. There's some pitchers that used to be very good back in the day.
And they're shit now compared to the players now.
No, that the things that they did back then they couldn't do now. Like you would have a pitcher be able to kind of paint the corner and then kind of move the ball out a little bit, and sometimes it was just
It's so slight that the
so
umpire couldn't
slight
catch it.
that the umpire was calling a strike.
Yeah.
And now the
Because
technology is going to catch it, and you can overrule it. So
Gotcha. So you
that
can't really use
skill
this.
that pitcher had,
Gotcha.
which was part of the game, part of the art of the game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I know we want.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we
That
want
makes sense.
things to be fair as far as somebody being out on first base and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I mean, they don't get much of that wrong after the replay, at least anymore. They get it wrong.
I was about to say,
Just
okay,
after the replay,
Okay.
they
Yeah,
don't get that
correct,
wrong. That's-
Correct.
Seeing that be corrected, especially because you didn't used to do that. That was never part of the game.
That's probably one of the
Instant
more
replay.
frustrating parts is the horrible calls. And now
That's it. That's baseball. But some of the little nuances we're losing.
unfortunately. Yeah, but I mean that's just with technology. I feel
Yeah.
like just in every aspect in life, we're gonna be losing a lot
Everything,
of different
man.
things, and AI
There's going to be a big change.
A lot of it.
Mm-hmm. It is. All right. That's what I got for today. That's the show. We do need you all, which I should have said earlier, which you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have you start like breaking in and shutting me up for a second and
To do the shout
give
outs
you
and
the-
whatnot.
to do the
social media.
the social media,
I
like,
can do that for you.
hey, Troy, let me do this a second before you go on to the next topic, you guys listeners, and you could put your little face up there and be all, let
We don't need
people
all
see
that.
it.
We'll lose some
no,
viewers if we do
they
that.
need to see you. They can check you out. But yeah, we need to do that. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X is the best places to reach me. Check out all those accounts. This account on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button.
We're almost at 400. We're
I saw.
5 away from 400.
I saw. Be that 5, people. Be that 5. I'd appreciate it. I would. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fit